Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast. It's Michelle here. Today we're going to talk all about energy, and I'm really believing that this is going to be helpful for you guys because I want to talk about real energy, not just going on my fourth cup of coffee to get through the rest of the day kind of energy, but I want to give you guys tools for true sustainable cellular level, like life force energy that lets you show up how you want to show up, right? How do you want to show up as a mom, partner, woman, business owner, leader, what have you? You're going to need energy to do that. And here's the deal. Most of the women that I work with, what I see over and over is that they think they have an energy problem because they think they have a time management problem, right? And I hear it over and over, like, I'm so busy. I need more sleep. I need to manage my calendar better. I need a morning routine. I need to find ways to rest on the weekends. And we think we have a time problem that's causing our energy problem, or we think we have a sleep problem that's causing our energy problem. And while those are all definitely contributing factors and they matter and they're important, don't hear me wrong on this. What is really going on at the root is, surprise, surprise, a nervous system problem. And this is a huge part of what we're diving into tomorrow, you guys, inside of the Calm and Collected workshop. I'm hosting this free workshop tomorrow. If you're listening to this in real time, the workshop is on April 9th. And I want to show you how to take the guesswork out of energy and stress so you can actually regulate your nervous system and feel more energized, upregulate in real time. So if you haven't signed up and saved your spot in the workshop yet, pause right now and go do that. Go register, go save your spot, because the Calm and Collected workshop is tomorrow. I'm teaching it live on Zoom. Register even if you can't make it live, because I'll record it and I'll email you the replay. But it's going to be so good. You're going to leave us really practical body-based tools to help you upregulate or downregulate your nervous system depending on what you're needing in any moment, right? So if you're feeling really activated, anxious, worried, irritable, edgy, I'll show you how to downregulate. And then if you're feeling really exhausted, disconnected, burnt out, dissociated, I'll show you how to upregulate. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I've been planning for it for so long. And it's right around the corner. It's tomorrow. So go ahead. The link is in the show notes. Save your spot, and I'll see you there at the Calm and Collected workshop tomorrow. Okay, so let's talk about energy. Energy, I think I want to start here. Energy is something that our body creates. It's not just spent. Our body's actually creating energy at a cellular level, right? Let me take you back to 10th grade biology. Your mitochondria, those little power plants that create energy in almost every cell of your body, your mitochondria are responsible for converting nutrients, right, from the food that we consume into something called ATP. ATP is the usable form of energy that your body runs on. Now, those mitochondria, you guys, those little power plants in your cells, guess what? They don't work well when you're living in a state of chronic stress. It makes sense, right? It's why when we've been stressed for days and weeks and months and years, we're depleted, we're exhausted, we're tired, because our mitochondria, those little energy producing power plants in our cells, don't function as they should when we're living in a state of chronic stress. And it's because when our nervous system is stuck in a stress response, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, Our body is going to prioritize whatever it needs to prioritize to keep us safe in the short term, right? It doesn't really care if we don't have enough energy to take our kids to the park or to plan our kids' birthday party or to just like pull off that project that we're working on. It cares about keeping us safe right now. So what does that mean, big picture? It means that when we're in a stress response, when you're in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, your body is prioritizing survival and doing what it needs so that you can run or fight against a threat. So it actually diverts blood away from your gut and toward your extremities so you could run or you could fight, right? That has a huge impact on your digestion. It downregulates your reproductive hormones, right? No one needs to be reproducing if they're being chased by a lion, tiger, or bear. So it has an impact on our hormones and our reproduction. When we're in fight or flight, it ramps up our cortisol, right? Our stress hormone to kind of get us through so we can respond accordingly. So we might feel alert, right? If you're in fight or flight, you might feel really alert, really activated, really wired, right? You're like on alert. But guys, that's not real energy. I don't even know what to call it. That's false energy. That is an energy that leads to a crash, right? It's a spike and then a crash. So we feel really wired and then we crash and then we get the brain fog and the exhaustion and the hormonal issues and the digestive issues and the cravings and all this, the whole litany of things. Because when your body is stuck in a chronic stress response, it is just burning through cortisol. It is just burning through adrenaline constantly. And that can leave you feeling wired for a while, but then you feel tired, right? And eventually that communication between your brain and your body in that stress response, it kind of wears down. And eventually what happens is you won't even feel that wired feeling anymore. You just kind of flatline, right? You're just stuck in the tired. So it really doesn't come so much from your schedule or, all these other things that we tend to think of. First and foremost, it actually our energy comes from a body that feels safe, right? Safe enough to function in the way in which we move around the world that creates energy. And that's something, you guys, that we can actually change. That's what I get so excited about. That's what I love teaching about, is that you can change the state of your nervous system. You can change whether you're in a chronic stress response, and then everything else heals from there. Okay. So I want to go through 3 science-backed strategies to help you guys do just that today. So let's start with strategy number 1. I want you to get really intentional about your mornings. Okay. Let's start there. I know that most of you either probably have a morning routine or you're kind of working to have a morning routine, or maybe you're someone that's just like, I flipping hate mornings. Like it is chaos in my house. And no matter how much I try, I cannot wake up before my kids. And I just feel kind of shut down in the morning, super groggy. It takes me like, a couple hours before I feel like I can even think straight. All right, let's make some tweaks that are going to be really helpful for you when it comes to increasing your energy. Most people think that energy starts with that first cup of coffee in the morning, okay? Is it helpful to a certain extent to have caffeine? Yes, right? We do know that there's research that supports that it increases our mental clarity and our focus and things like that. However, when we have coffee first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, you guys, that is pouring gasoline on your cortisol fire that's already happening in your body, right? Our cortisol, our stress hormone, peaks when we wake up. It's what brings ourselves out of the sleep state and into a state of consciousness. It's a cortisol peak. It's an energy stress kind of peak that takes us out of sleep and brings us to wakefulness. So usually when we wake up, we're already at the highest levels of cortisol that we're going to experience throughout the day. And then what do most of us do without having anything else in our stomach? We go and we dump a bunch of caffeine in our body and we're already at high cortisol levels. And then we're super caffeinated. And then we wonder why we're irritable in the morning and we have anxiety in the morning and all these different things. Okay. So what I want you guys, instead of going to your coffee first, you can have coffee, just have something in your body first. We'll talk about that in a second. But I want you to start thinking about incorporating light and protein into your mornings. And by light, I mean literal morning sunlight into your eyeballs, especially in the first hour of waking. Okay. It does something magical to our bodies. When light enters your eyes, it hits a part of your brain that controls your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock. And that light, when it goes into your eyes, it signals to your brain, it's time to be awake. It's time to be alert. It's time to be focused. It's time to create energy to go about our day. And this is what's so fascinating also. That light hitting your eyes and then going to that part of your brain tells your body to stop producing melatonin, right? In the morning, our body needs to stop producing melatonin. That's our sleep hormone. And it tells our body to start increasing cortisol appropriately, not spiking our cortisol, not that dysregulated kind of energy that comes from stress, but a natural, gentle rise in cortisol that supports us feeling alert and focused and energized. And when you miss that morning light, you guys, when you go from a dark bedroom to a kitchen to, a dark car to a dark office with artificial light, and you're just sitting in your little box all day long, your circadian rhythm gets thrown off. And so do your hormones, and so does your sleep quality, and so does your energy. So can you get outside within 30 minutes of waking up, right? Try it for the next week. Can you get outside within 30 minutes of waking up for some natural light into your eyes, right? Even 5 minutes, guys, 10 minutes. Where can you drink your morning coffee? Where can you have your morning quiet time, whatever that looks like? Do you journal? Do you have a spiritual practice? Do you have a breath work practice? Can you do that outside? Can you sit on your front porch? Can you sit outside? Can you sit in your backyard? Can you sit on your balcony? Can you go for a walk while you do it? A 5-minute walk, a 10-minute walk in the morning, 30 minutes from within waking up, without sunglasses. It makes a big difference. And if you're like listening to this and you're like, girl, you're crazy. You have no idea what my mornings are like. One, I would encourage you to try because excuses like that will always be there, right? And if you can't sit outside for some reason, maybe you live in Antarctica, and it's not safe for you to sit outside, sit by a window. Even that is better than just sitting in the dark, okay? Sit in a place, even if it's cloudy outside, you guys, it's still way brighter than even a Walmart. This is true, okay? All right, so that's the first thing. Try to get some morning sunlight into your eyeballs within the first 30 minutes of you waking up. And then as far as the protein is concerned, I want you to try to eat protein within the first hour of waking up. Okay, that's the second half of this morning energy equation. Stop skipping breakfast. When you go straight to coffee, especially when you have an empty stomach, it spikes your cortisol like we were just talking about, okay? And that throws off your blood sugar and it sends your nervous system into high alert. And over time, there's a toll, right, that it takes on your body. Adrenal dysregulation, poor sleep, you're going to have energy crashes, you're going to have cravings. We need protein, within an hour or so of waking up because that's what helps stabilize our blood sugar. That's what reduces our stress hormone spikes. And that's what gives our body the building blocks, right, the amino acids that our body needs to produce neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, AKA the stuff that helps us feel really good and function really well. And I don't really care if you're not hungry when you wake up first thing in the morning. That is a huge red flag that your nervous system is dysregulated. It's not just how you are. I promise you, we're supposed to be hungry when we wake up. If you're not hungry when you wake up, you should be questioning that and get curious about it because it's probably a really strong symptom that your nervous system is stuck in a state of fight or flight. And if you don't have a huge appetite, that's fine. How can you start? Sometimes I just have some Greek yogurt, right? Sometimes I'll eat, I have hard-boiled eggs in my fridge. You guys have probably heard me talk about this all the time. I'll just take a hard-boiled egg out of my fridge, cut it in half, put some salt on it, and I'll eat that while my coffee is brewing, okay? And even better, if you can start your day with a real breakfast with 20 to 30 grams of protein, eggs, chicken yogurt, Greek yogurt, oh my gosh, chicken sausage, a smoothie, maybe throw some protein powder, some collagen in there, and then pair that with some healthy fats, fiber, even better for blood sugar balance. That'll be amazing. Okay, so that's number one. Rethink your mornings. Try to get morning sunlight and get some protein into your body before you have caffeine. Number 2, the second science-backed way you can start boosting your energy. Y'all, don't drain your dopamine. Don't drain your dopamine, right? And I'm not talking about like TikTok hype dopamine detox. I'm talking about real science-backed, like this is wrecking your focus and motivation kind of way. What is dopamine? Dopamine is a chemical messenger in your brain. It's a neurotransmitter, and its job is motivation. Its job is pleasure. Its job is focus. Its job is reward. Its job is mood regulation. It's often called the feel-good hormone, right? And I mean, that's a bit of a simplification, but it's not just about feeling good. It's about anticipating reward. This is so important when it comes to our dopamine. Your brain releases dopamine when you do something that it receives as rewarding, right? So like checking off a box on your to-do list, plowing through the stuff you've got to get done, plowing through your email inbox, right? Getting back to a text, making a great meal for your family, making progress on a goal you have or a project. Like anything that your brain perceives as rewarding, it releases dopamine, right? It's what drives us to take action and keep moving toward our goals. This is awesome. This is a good thing, right? What's the problem? The problem is that your brain was not designed for this constant low effort dopamine hit, right? That's the kind of dopamine hit, this constant low effort dopamine hit, cheap dopamine that comes from scrolling on social media, constantly refreshing your inbox, right? Binging shows on Netflix, online shopping, watching reels or TikToks on repeat. These things give your brain a quick hit of dopamine with very little effort or reward required, right? You don't have to really do much. You sit there and you consume and it's like, bam, dopamine, bam, dopamine. And the more often that your brain gets those cheap hits, just like anything else, it starts to build a tolerance. It starts to build a tolerance. It's something that we call dopamine desensitization. So over time, your baseline dopamine levels actually drop, right? It's like when we learned about drugs in like 4th grade. Your brain becomes less sensitive over time. So when we're talking about dopamine, over time with these cheap hits of dopamine, your brain becomes less sensitive to dopamine. So what does that mean? It means that it actually takes more stimulation to feel the same level of motivation or satisfaction. And guys, this is why the things that used to light you up, the things that used to excite you, things like, I don't know, planning a vacation or working toward a goal or spending some time with your kids, right? Things that used to really feel good and exciting and fun for you probably don't feel as good or exciting or fun or rewarding anymore. And instead, you kind of feel flat, you kind of feel restless, you kind of feel unmotivated, and your nervous system is running the show behind the scenes and it's making it all worse. It's amplifying this cycle with these constant little surges of stress and distraction and disconnection. So what might that look like in real life, right? Maybe it looks like you sit down to work, but 15 minutes later, you're, deep into Instagram stories. Or maybe it looks like you wake up tired, but the first thing you do is check your phone, already giving your brain this mini dopamine hit before your feet even hit the floor in the morning. Or maybe it looks like you start craving sugar or online shopping during that afternoon slump, not because you're weak and can't focus, but because your brain is begging for more stimulation. And it's not that you're unable to focus, right? It's not like your brain is broken. You're just burned out. And that constant chasing of easy dopamine is part of the reason why your energy and your focus and your emotional resilience feels so fried. So what do we do instead? We start by protecting our dopamine like it's our flipping job. And we intentionally build in opportunities for real dopamine, right? Rich dopamine, the kind that actually takes a little bit of effort, but it offers us a deeper, longer lasting reward. How do we get real, good quality, high quality dopamine? You get it from doing something challenging, right? Completing something meaningful, even if it's something small, you guys. You get it from moving your body. There's no way around it. Moving your body is so, so, so important to create energy and regulate your nervous system. You get good dopamine by creating something, writing, painting, cooking, right? Creating something. You get real dopamine by having good quality conversations with people you love. You get it from learning a new skill. You get it from setting goals and then working toward your goals and then meeting your goals. And you also get it when you play. So I can't stop talking about the need for us to incorporate daily play, right? Doing something that's fun for you, doing something that's new, doing something that feels creative. Your nervous system loves this stuff, you guys, because it's not just like dopamine for dopamine's sake. It's dopamine that's actually tied to connecting with other people. It's tied to purpose, and it's tied to this embodied sense of safety. Okay, so what are some practical things you guys can put into place today to stop getting these cheap dopamine hits and, really getting high quality dopamine that's going to help you create long lasting energy? Delay social media, right? Can you not go on social media until noon? I thought that's something that I've started. Like, I literally have a timer on my phone. I have this app called, I think it's called Freedom. It's like a little green butterfly, but I've set a protection on there, a boundary on there, that it won't even let me open WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, what else? Like a couple other apps on my phone until noon every day. And if I am like subconsciously just going to Instagram and I hit the little Instagram app on my phone, a green screen pops up and it's like, use your time better or something like that. And reminding me to like stop looking for a cheap dopamine hit and go do something that's actually going to give me real energy. So what can you do to prevent yourself from checking social media until after you've been able to ground your body and at least eat breakfast? Okay. Another thing you can do, set up a few short windows in the day to check your screen instead of just keeping this constant drip open, right? Your email inbox should not be open all day long. First of all, that's a complete time suck, right? Any time management expert is going to tell you it's a horrible idea. And then all the other things that we check in on all day long are text messages and our email, obviously, and social media. Like, can you set up times during your day where you check it for 10, 15 minutes? Or maybe you have an email block, right, in mid-afternoon that you try to get through your emails. But just having a strategy so you're not constantly checking on these things all day long, because that will be constantly dripping cheap dopamine for you. And then can you use like a dopamine reset ritual if that feels helpful every day, right? Can there be 30 minutes a day where you do something that's disconnected from technology, going for a walk, drawing, sketching, organizing something in your house, right? Playing music, reading, playing with your kids, exercising. I think that would be really helpful. And if the idea of this stuff sounds really hard right now, or if it even sounds boring, I just want you to understand that that's probably a sign that your brain has adapted to this easy, cheap dopamine. And it means that you need this even more. And inside of the Calm and Collected workshop tomorrow, you guys, I'm going to be showing you how to regulate your nervous system so that it's not constantly chasing stimulation. Because if your baseline state is actually grounded, you guys, if you're feeling regulated, if you're feeling safe in your body, guess what? You don't need all of these dopamine band-aids just to get through the day. So that shift away from cheap dopamine and toward intentional, more meaningful rewards is one of the most powerful ways that you're going to rebuild your energy and your motivation and the joy. And I promise you, once you start to feel the difference, girl, you ain't going back. Okay. All right. And then finally, number 3, I've been doing this recently and it's made a big difference. Create a midday reset. Create a midday reset. This is probably why you're crashing and what to do instead, right? By that, mid-afternoon hour, 2 or 3 p.m., you're feeling pretty crappy. You're feeling foggy, sluggish, snacky, maybe even a little irritable. Sometimes it might be because you've had a long morning, but usually there's a biological and physical reason, and it's tied to your blood sugar and your circadian rhythm and the state of your nervous system. So what's probably happening during your afternoon crash? 1, your cortisol has dipped, right? Cortisol gets a bad rap, but it's actually so important for us to have energy, for us to be able to focus, for us to be motivated. It naturally peaks in the morning. We were just talking about that. So it peaks in the morning to wake us up and get us going. And then it gradually declines through the day. So by the time we get to evening, low states of cortisol in our body, it helps us feel relaxed and ready for restful sleep. Now, The afternoon slump often lines up with a dip in our natural cortisol rhythm. And if you're burned out or dysregulated, that curve might be more steep than what you're wanting to experience, right? It might be flatlining altogether. That cortisol is just dropping off and you feel the afternoon crash. Another reason why you might be experiencing that afternoon crash is that your blood sugar isn't stable. So many of us experience this spike and crash of our blood sugar because we either skip meals, right? We just talked about breakfast, or we eat mostly carbs or sugars for lunch, or we're relying on caffeine to feel energized throughout the day instead of actually nourishing our body with what it needs in a balanced meal. So those blood sugar dips, those are going to trigger the release of adrenaline and cortisol, and that's just going to mess up your cycle even further, right? More dysregulated, more fatigued. And then I think the last reason why a lot of us have experienced afternoon crashes, y'all, we're overstimulated and we're under recovered. I think this is like true as a generalization across, women in our demographic. We're on go mode all morning. Meetings, school drop off, back-to-back demands, right? Our nervous system has not had a moment to come down. And that sustained pace, that sustained sympathetic activation, it leads to adrenal fatigue, mental exhaustion, and what we would experience as a quote unquote crash. And what do? We push through, right? It's what we know how to do best. We are tough. We are strong. We get things done. We push through. We grab another cup of coffee. And what does that do? It further taxes our adrenals and disrupts our cortisol rhythms and tanks our sleep. Or we reach for sugar and carbs and then we get another energy spike and another crash. Or we just power through, right? And that deepens the dysregulation and signals to our system like, keep going, push, stay in overdrive. These are short-term fixes and they lead to long-term depletion. They don't work with your biology. They actually work against it. So here's the reset, the midday reset ritual. I'm not talking about having lunch in the meadow, right? I mean, go for it if you can. It sounds lovely. But I'm talking about how can you build in a time in the afternoon to give your body a clear signal like we're safe. Hey, you can shift out of overdrive now. Here's how I do it. I have a time during the afternoon where I just get away from my screen and get outside for 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes I just sit on my rocking chair, my balcony, and I'll have lunch there. Sometimes, or I'll have like a snack there. Sometimes I'll just go for a walk for 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes it's just around the block. Sometimes I'll walk to the park near my house and come back. Get outside, get away from your screen. That's going to help reset, first of all, visual fatigue, right? Because you've been staring at a screen all day. And it's going to support your circadian rhythm. And that movement or being outside in nature, fresh air, sunlight is going to calm your nervous system. And then eat something that's going to stabilize your blood sugar, you guys. Like have intentionally prepared snacks available to you that are super easy. Again, I'm not talking about you don't have to be Martha Stewart and have this gourmet thing. Handful of almonds and a hard-boiled egg, right? Carrots and hummus, Greek yogurt and some chia seeds. These simple things can keep your blood sugar stable and give your body the energy that it's actually asking for. And then do something somatic, right? Surprise, surprise. I'm telling you to get out of your head and into your body. Again, we talk about this so much on the show. Your body, your nervous system doesn't speak English. It doesn't speak a verbal language. It speaks and understands through communication, through sensations. So can you go for a walk, right? Bilateral movement stimulates our nervous system and activates our parasympathetic and helps us to calm down. 5-minute walk, vagus nerve stimulation, right? Can you do a few rounds of that physiological sigh? Breath in through your nose when it feels like you're at capacity. Another quick breath and then out through your mouth. Pursed lips like you're breathing through a straw. Long extended exhale. Shaking it off, right? Can you put on a song and move your body and dance for a few minutes like you're releasing stress? Shake, move your body, shake what your mama gave you. Because that shaking sensation in and of itself can release so much tension and stress and help your nervous system regulate. These are practices, you guys, that downshift your nervous system out of sympathetic overdrive, out of the go, 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 and bring you back into balance so that you can finish your day feeling energized, real energy, focused and present, and not just go mode, hustle mode, right? And when we reset our system midday like this, one, we're not just like surviving the rest of the day. We're actually resetting our internal rhythm. And this, you guys, is how we build resilience. This is how we avoid the 3 p.m. crash. This is how we actually sleep well at night. And most importantly, this is how we stop living in fight or flight mode all day long. Okay. It's kind of simple. Body-based shifts. This is what I teach. And this is what we practice in the regulation toolkit. That's part of my group program, Burnout Recovery Blueprint. That's going to be opening up again. If you guys have been wanting to join the next cohort, we open registration in just a few days. So I'll be talking about it more here on the podcast. I'll be sending out emails about it. But these aren't just tips, you guys. They're actually like nervous system interventions. And if you're joining me tomorrow for the Calm and Collected workshop, we are diving into these tools so you can start feeling the difference immediately. Okay. So if your energy feels off, look at your schedule, but don't just look at your schedule. Look at your state. Your nervous system is really key here. So you're going to want to start being more intentional about getting early morning sunlight and protein in the morning. Protect your dopamine, right? Don't scroll your energy away. And then how can you plan and incorporate a little midday reset that recharges your nervous system? And if this is resonating with you, I'm telling you guys, register and join me tomorrow for the Calm and Collected workshop. I'm going to walk you through how to create this personalized regulation plan that really helps you feel grounded and focused and resilient. You're going to learn how to use your body to change your state. This is so powerful. Change your state, change your energy, change your life. I promise you, you can actually start enjoying yourself again. I know you're not just tired. I know you're not just scattered. I know you don't just have a lot going on. All of those might feel really true, and you're dysregulated, and there's a way to go forward. And I want to show you how. All right. So I'll see you guys tomorrow in the Calm and Collected workshop. Thanks for being here today. Love y'all. Talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.